Hi, this is Christopher from CNC Loom Boys, and today I will be showing you how to make a red Pikmin on the original Rainbow Loom. And this is my first tutorial on the Rainbow Loom, and I'm very excited, and I hope you like it. So what you'll need is your Rainbow Loom, a hook, a lot of red Rainbow Loom bands, 2 black and 2 white Rainbow Loom bands, and a bunch of green Rainbow Loom bands. And we'll also need a C-clip or an S-clip, whichever one you like. And so make sure all of your rows, all 3 rows have arrows facing that way, because the way we loop is up like that. And so let's get started. So we grab our first green band and we put it in the middle row on these 2 pins, like that. And now what we are going to do is we are going to go diagonally outward, like that. You can do that the other way too. Well, it doesn't really matter which one you do first, because they're all going towards the same place. So it should look like that. And what you're going to do is take 2, and from now on we're using 2 bands, 2 of the same color. So go straight, and it should almost look like an arrow. But without this, it almost looks like part of an arrow. And now in the middle row, you just go straight 2 more times. Now it really does look like an arrow without this part, if you can see that. And now what you're going to do is go on your outer rows and do it twice. That's 1 time. That's 1. And that's the other one. So that's what it should look like so far. And now what you're going to do is we are going to go back in to the middle, like that, and do that for the other one, like that. And now what you're going to do, we're going to grab our first 2 red bands and just go straight down. So it will look like that. And what we've done so far is this part with the leaf. And so now we are going to go on to the body. And the body is pretty much the same as the head because they're connected. And they have no neck. Well, these figures don't have any necks. And now we are going to go down 1 more, like that. And now we are going to go outwards again. Sorry, my nose itches. So it should look like that. And now what you're going to do is go down once. Like that. And now do that for the outside rows. Like that. And now we are going to do the eyes, which still count as 2 bands. If you have ever heard of connector bands, it's really easy with Rainbow Loom bands, but not with Alpha Loom bands. If you have bigger fingers, all you have to do is just slide one band through another and grab the ends of the band you slip through. Sometimes they can fall out. And now it looks like one band, but it's really not. And just make it look like your fingers are 2 pins. Like that. And now what you're going to do is put it on there. Put it on the next 2 pins on that row. On these 2 pins and these 2 pins. So now do that one again. It doesn't really matter which one you slip through on the other one, because you're gonna make it around. You're gonna twist it around so it'll go on without you having to make it. You'll have to use your hook to move it so it's equal on both sides, and it doesn't really have to be equal on each side. It doesn't really have to be equal with the black on just one side, and this one I did. The black got into the white a little on this eye, so it's hard not to do it. But and you don't want your eyes, and you don't want to do it facing. You don't want the eyes facing each other, because that'd make Pikmin cross-eyed. And they should look almost like that. And now we are going to put another 2 red on the next 2. Like that. And now what we are going to do is one more row in the middle, like that. And now we are going to do the nose. And to do the nose, and it's pretty much what we have to do for the arms and legs too, take 2 red bands and pull and twist them onto your hook. Like that. So there's 4 loops. Take 2 more bands and pull the cap bands off your hook. Like that. So one of your fingers is holding one of the ends, and your hook is holding the other, and now and it was on your finger onto your hook, like that. So there are 4 loops on your hook again. Take 2 more and then slide them through. Should look like that. And now what we are going to do is take it off our hook. Make sure you don't lose it. Stretch it on your fingers and You can have it pointing out like that, or you can have it underneath, and you can always switch it to the other side, because, well, I put it in, on the bottom because we are going to be looping up, and it's going to be, and if you did it up, it would be looping over itself, and that'd be kind of weird, and it'd be harder. So I put it under there, and you can do it the other way. That's just how I do it. And now just do another row on every row. And just keep going. And just one more. And your loom should look like that, with your bands ending at here, here, and here. And now we are going to curve back in. Bands there. And there. Sorry, my nose is itching really bad. And this is what it should look like so far. And now we are going to make the arms and the legs. They are exactly like the nose. So if you did great with the nose, then this should be easy for you. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to say it one more time. Take 2 bands and twist it onto your hook. So there's 4 loops. Take 2 bands, pull the cap bands onto those bands. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes your bands can fall off when you're trying to pull them through. That just happened. And it should look like that. And now we're going to do that one more time. No twisting. Should look like that. And I'm just going to leave it on my hook for when we are all done. And I'm going to do one more time if you still don't understand, which is a little hard because I've already done it twice. But just to make sure, put you have to have 2 cap bands, and take 2 bands and either pull those off or pull 2 bands through. Actually doing both. And it should look like that. Take 2 more bands, pull them through. And I'm just going to do the other 2 on my own because it's easier when it's closer to me. And I can see it better. And now I have one more to do. Wow, this last one is troubling me. I don't know why. And I'm done. So you were probably done before I finished because I messed up and one of them fell apart. But now you should have 4 of these. That's how much we're going to need, because 2 arms and 2 legs. They're all exactly the same. And now the 2 feet we're going to place first. So, and we're not going to place it like the nose, because all 4 of the loops are going to be on one pin, and the legs are going to be on this pin and this pin over here on the opposite side. So should look like that. And take the other foot or leg. And the legs. This is what it should look like after you put the legs on. And what you're going to do is put the arms on next. Take the arms off of your hook. And the arms go right here and here. And it should look like that now. And now what we're going to do is grab a bunch of red bands. And we're just going to make triangle shapes. Because without these, then your Pikmin or anything would be all, well, and it would just be 3 strands of bands. That's funny how I said that, because there's actually a thing called strand bands. Well, it would just be like 3 ropes, and they would all have little things coming out of them, which would be kind of weird. Actually, there'd be more because then these wouldn't connect, and then so what you have to do is just place them on almost all of the rows. Just don't place that here or here. They should go here, 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 and here. And now grab a bunch of green bands, and we're going to do the same thing. There. And also onto these 3. And now we are going to grab another red band. and do a triple cap. It's just a cap band just wrapped around a pin another time. One of my loops fell off. And it should look like that. And now you don't need any more bands. We are going to start looping. And now what you do is take the top two bands, pull them through the cap band, and sometimes your cap band wants to come with your bands, and it only comes off when if your bands come off. And it's really easy to fix, especially when there's only one. Well, actually, it's better when there's two loops because they're not as stretched out. I mean, when there's two loops still on there, and there's one loop that came with it, then it's harder because it's the other two are just a lot stretched out a lot. And it's harder. So the more loops that travels with it, the better. So take the next two, and you might want to hold down your cap band. And it should, and now take the last two and go wherever direction it's supposed to go. So now what we've done is gone from this row to this pin to these three pins. And now you can just do the middle row easily because there's no things blocking anything in the middle row, except that this band doesn't want to go up, but I made it. And just keep taking the bands up. And sometimes some of the bands can fall off of that, but it's okay if they've already been looped in the one after it's been looped, because you can just put it back on there easily. And now we can just continue going to the next row. Oops, one of my bands didn't go on there, but I got it. And since the middle row was the last one I put on, I can go and put it on there. Well, what I do is whatever row is the top row, that should be the one that loops back on there first, because the bottom one always seems like it should close it. So that's what I usually do when I do those. And so then I do the next one over. And these two ones are harder because of the feet. But there's a trick I found out where you can just pull the band, go through everything, and those bands will be like stretched out, and you'll be able to grab them really easily. Sorry if my head was in there. And it should look like that. So go behind the triangle band. Go to the next row. And now we have to do that same trick again. And you can tell if you grab the wrong bands when your bands on the loops on the parts of the bands on the bottom don't stretch. That means that you didn't grab the right bands, or your bands on the bottom just don't want to stretch. But if they don't stretch, just pull a little and then you can tell. And then take the next row up. And take the next one up. Like that. And now we're going to curve in. And this pin right here is also going to be a crowded one, but it's really easy to get the next band once we're done with the body part, because there's nothing blocking it. There's no bands that you will accidentally grab. There's no bands like that on that pin, so it's really easy, even though it's a crowded place. So now we're going to do the next row. Or the last row, actually. Take the first two bands up. Take the next bands up. And then curve in. Like that. And now what we're going to do is grab the two bands on the bottom. And it should look like that. And now just loop one more time. And now all we have to do left is looping the leaf. So just take the first two bands, go to wherever where they were first. So like that and that, and now just do the middle one. And since the middle row was the last one I did, I'm gonna go straight. We can just do that row. Oh, wow, that's the third time it's done that to me in this figure. And it should look like that. And now we are going to do the next row. And if part of your bands go on there and a few of your bands stay there, that's okay, because you can just do what we did for like when the bands go up kind of like that. Or like that, but like that. Then curve in like that. And now do the last ones. And now what you're going to do is take the final band up. And don't stretch it too much because it might break. And now take your hook and take those two ends and just clip it like that. And now what you're going to do is just take your Pikmin and now we are done the red Pikmin. And you can pull his nose out a little bit to make it more long. And here are three. Here, I actually made another one that I haven't showed you. They're all the same. I just didn't show you one of them. Here's the original and the one I just made, and here's the other one that I had made. And time for the sneak peek. And I really like this one, and I hope you like it too. The next tutorial from me will be on a Komasan Alpha Loom figure from Yokai Watch. I just got interested into the game and the show, and Komasan's one of my favorite characters. So I wanted to make it into an Alpha Loom figure, and I also made its sack and its little tail. And I really enjoyed making this. See you next time. Bye!